Chapter 19. Josh stared out a window as the train approached a large fog bank. Once inside the fog, he could see nothing. "We're here," Rockne said. "Where?" Josh asked, still looking out. "Lacey." As soon as he said that, the fog lifted and Josh was treated to a view of what looked like a tiny island. Only instead of resting in the middle of an ocean of water, this island looked to be resting in space. Josh looked down and saw nothing but stars. If he were still alive, he imagined his nose would be bleeding the same way it did when he first arrived at Dargo Island. It always had when he was truly afraid. "Are we in space?" he asked Rockne. "No, we're still on Earth, just in a strange place." "It's beautiful," Josh whispered. He noticed that the elevated tracks seemed to appear before the train, as if coming to exist seconds before the train passed over them. He looked out the back window and saw those tracks disappear, no longer needed. "Rockne, you may have been a misguided SOB, but you sure can work wonders." "Thank you, Doctor." The train circled the tiny island as Rockne looked for a place to make land. The island truly looked like it was floating in space. Josh had seen many amazing sights in his day, from Dargo Island to Naoki's castle in the clouds, but this place had to be the most wondrous of all. Rockne stopped the train at the end of a cobbled street that lowered into the water. It seemed like a better place than any other. Josh and Rockne stood at one of the train's doors, looking down. "Are we supposed to jump into the water or something?" Josh asked. He couldn't imagine jumping down. It would feel like jumping off a cliff and into the universe. Rockne pushed a button on the console and the train lowered. He then stepped onto the cobbled street. Josh followed him up the street and into what appeared to be a town filled with dark shops and a lot of alleys. This must be the town of Lacey, and it appeared empty. "Is there anyone here?" Josh asked. "I haven't been here for centuries. Back then wasn't much better. This place crawled with giants and other disgusting creatures." "You don't like giants?" Josh asked, remembering the giants on Dargo Island the old man massacred nearly single-handedly. "Let's just say I tolerated them. You know, this Gelfin we're visiting reminds me of you." "Because we're both Gelfin?" Josh asked sarcastically. "More than that. When I last encountered him, I scared him badly enough to make his nose bleed." Josh looked at him. "In fact, when you first came to Dargo Island and your nose bled from the shock, I immediately thought of him. Maybe you're related." "Maybe." Josh's step quickened with anticipation. "Wait for me," Rockne said with frustration as he climbed up the steep street. "I'm a walking corpse, remember?" "Don't remind me." He went back and helped Rockne up the hilly street. The old wizard in his shiny suit walked through alleys, turning this way and that, looking for the shop the Gelfin owned. In all that time, Josh hadn't seen a single living soul in this town. It truly was empty. "Ah," Rockne said. "There it is." He pointed to a sign that said, "The Narrow Shop."